The discovery. The vast emptiness of the Epsilon sector stretched before Captain Maya Chen's view screen like an endless ocean of black velvet dotted with brilliant diamonds. After 15 years mapping the outer reaches for the Stellar Exploration Corps, she had developed an instinct for the unusual. That instinct now prickled at the back of her neck as she studied the anomalous readings on her console. Vega, run another scan on grid sector 7 Delta. Maya ordered, her voice steady despite the excitement building in her chest. The ship's AI complied silently, and new data flooded her display. Captain, called Lieutenant Karim from the sensor station, his dark eyes wide with disbelief. You need to see this. Maya crossed the bridge of the exploration vessel Horizon in 3 quick strides. The sensor display showed something that defied conventional explanation. A massive structure floating motionless against the backdrop of stars, absorbing all light that touched it. Not reflecting, not dispersing, absorbing. Is that? She began. It doesn't match any known configuration in our database, Karim confirmed. And it's big, at least 2 kilometers in length. Maya straightened, her decision already made. Plot an approach course. Standard first contact protocols. As the horizon drew closer, the object resolved into a sleek, elongated form with elegant curves that suggested both function and artistry. Its surface was a deep obsidian that seemed to drink in the light from their floodlamps, creating the impression of a vessel-shaped hole in space itself. No response to standard hailing frequencies, reported Communications Officer Liang, her fingers dancing across her console. No response on any frequency, in fact. Life signs? Maya asked. Dr. Elena Sokolov, the expedition's xenobiologist, shook her head. Nothing our sensors can detect, Captain. But there's something else. She gestured to her readings. There's an energy signature emanating from within the structure. Nothing like our reactor technology. It's pulsing, almost like a heartbeat. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They had found something truly alien, a relic of a civilization with technology far beyond their own. Prepare a boarding team, Maya ordered. I want environmental suits, full spectrum scanners, and security protocols at maximum. 4 hours later, Maya led the team through the airlock and onto the alien vessel. The interior was as black as the exterior, but as their boots touched the deck, lines of soft blue light began to trace patterns across the walls and ceiling, illuminating a corridor that stretched deep into the ship. It's responding to our presence, whispered Dr. Sokolov in awe. Chief Engineer Rodriguez ran a scanner along the wall. These aren't conventional power conduits. It's almost like the entire ship is a single integrated system. Maya felt a strange sensation, a subtle vibration that seemed to resonate not through the air, but directly through her mind. She shook her head, trying to clear it. Captain, are you all right? Asked Lieutenant Karim, noticing her momentary disorientation. I'm fine, she assured him, though she wasn't entirely convinced herself. Let's continue. The team proceeded deeper into the vessel, the blue lights guiding their way. Each chamber they entered awakened as they approached, revealing spaces that defied conventional shipbuilding logic. There were no visible control interfaces, no seats or workstations as humans would understand them. In what appeared to be the central chamber, a sphere of swirling blue energy hung suspended in midair. As Maya approached, the energy patterns shifted, becoming more complex and vibrant. It's beautiful, she murmured, reaching out unconsciously. Captain, I don't think you should. Rodriguez began, but it was too late. As Maya's fingertips neared the sphere, tendrils of energy reached out to meet them. Instead of pain, she felt a rush of information flooding her consciousness. Mathematical equations, star maps, engineering concepts so advanced they barely registered as technology. She gasped and staggered backward, but the connection remained. The ship was communicating with her. Maya, what's happening? Elena rushed to her side, scanner in hand. It's talking to me. Maya managed, her voice strained. not with words, with concepts, images. The blue light throughout the vessel intensified, and new patterns formed along the walls. The teen watched in amazement as three-dimensional star charts materialized in the air around them, showing regions of space no human had ever mapped. "It's a starship," Maya said with certainty, the knowledge somehow clear in her mind, "built by a species that called themselves the Volteri. They've been extinct for over 50,000 years." "How do you know that?" Karim asked, his hand hovering near his sidearm. "The ship is telling me. It has an integrated consciousness, not alive in the biological sense, but aware." Maya's eyes widened as more information flowed into her mind. The Volteri designed it to survive them, to preserve their knowledge. It's been waiting for someone to find it. Rodriguez approached cautiously, his scanner beeping rapidly. "Captain, your neural patterns are synchronizing with the ship's energy field. I've never seen anything like it. It's choosing me," Maya realized with sudden clarity. "It can interface with human neural architecture. We're compatible." Over the next several days, the connection between Maya and the vessel deepened. She learned that the ship, which she now knew was called the Luminaris, was more than just a vehicle for interstellar travel. It was a repository of knowledge, a library of a lost civilization's achievements, and a testament to their desire that their discoveries would not die with them. The Luminaris had drifted for millennia, its systems in hibernation, waiting for a species with the right neural patterns to discover it. The Volteri had seeded many worlds with life in their time, but humanity was the first to evolve with a brain structure that could interface with their technology. But as Maya's crew explored further, they discovered something troubling. The vessel was damaged, not physically, but in its core programming. Some critical systems had degraded over the long centuries of waiting, and without repair, the knowledge of the Volteri would eventually be lost forever. "It needs us as much as we need it," Maya explained to her assembled officers in the Horizons conference room. "The ship contains technology that could advance our civilization by centuries, maybe millennia. Faster than light travel, energy production methods we've only theorized about, medical knowledge beyond our comprehension. And what does it want in return?" asked Karim, ever the pragmatist. "A symbiosis," Maya replied. "It needs human creativity, human intuition." The Volteri were brilliant, but they thought linearly. They couldn't solve the degradation in their systems because they couldn't think outside their own parameters. "We can." As Maya spoke, an alert sounded from the bridge. Communications Officer Liang's voice came over the intercom, tense and urgent. "Captain, we're detecting multiple ships entering the sector. They're broadcasting colonial military identification." Maya's heart sank. Word of their discovery had spread faster than she'd anticipated. "How long until they arrive?" she asked. 18 hours at their current velocity," Liang replied. Maya exchanged glances with her officers. They all knew what the arrival of military vessels meant. The colonial authority would claim the Luminaris for strategic purposes, dissect its technology for weapons development, and ignore its true purpose. "We don't have much time," Maya said grimly. "If we're going to preserve what the Volteri created, if we're going to honor their legacy, we need to fully activate the ship before they arrive." That night, as her crew made preparations, Maya returned alone to the central chamber of the Luminaris. The blue sphere pulsed in welcome as she approached. "I know you can understand me," she said aloud. "We want to help you, but others are coming who might not share our intentions. We need to complete our bond." The sphere flared brightly, and Maya felt the ship's response. Not fear, but determination. Images flooded her mind. A complete neural interface, a merging of human consciousness with Volteri technology. It would be dangerous, unprecedented. It would change her forever. But it would also save the Luminaris and all it contained. Maya took a deep breath and stepped forward, placing both hands directly into the heart of the energy sphere. Blue light engulfed her, lifting her off the deck as energy coursed through her body. She felt her consciousness expanding, touching every system in the vast ship. She saw the stars not as distant points of light, but as destinations, connected by pathways through the fabric of space-time itself. As the military ships drew nearer to their position, Maya Chen ceased to be merely human. She became something new, a bridge between two civilizations separated by 50,000 years of history. And through her, the Luminaris awakened fully for the first time since the last of the Volteri had passed into oblivion. The Starship's epic journey had begun with the human's touch, the awakening. The transformation was both instantaneous and eternal. Maya felt her consciousness expand beyond the boundaries of her physical form, flowing through the intricate pathways of the Luminaris like water through ancient channels. She was still herself, still Maya Chen, captain of the horizon. But she was also something more. She could feel the vast ship around her as if it were an extension of her own body, sense every fluctuation in its energy field, access knowledge that had lain dormant for 50 millennia. When she opened her eyes, the world appeared transformed. Overlaid atop her normal vision were streams of data, analyses of the ship's systems, and the status of her own crew as they moved throughout the vessel. She could feel their neural patterns, each a unique constellation of thought and emotion. "Captain," Dr. Sokolov approached cautiously, her scanner held before her like a shield. "Your vitals are unusual. How do you feel?" Maya smiled, the expression feeling somehow both intimate and distant on her face. "I feel complete, Elena. The Luminaris and I have synchronized." Chief Engineer Rodriguez whistled softly as he studied his readings. "The ship's systems are coming online everywhere. Power levels are rising exponentially. But it's stable, more stable than any system I have ever seen." Maya nodded, knowing this already. She could feel the ancient engines stirring, systems checking and recalibrating themselves after their long dormancy. The Luminaris was designed to be self-repairing, self-evolving. It just needed a catalyst. "You," said Lieutenant Karim, his expression caught between awe and apprehension. "Me," Maya acknowledged. "Us, humans. The Volteri predicted our evolution, you know. They seeded countless worlds, hoping that somewhere, someday, a species would arise with the neural complexity to interface with their technology. We're their legacy." A message from the horizon interrupted their conversation. The colonial military vessels had accelerated and would arrive in less than 8 hours. Their commander, Admiral Zhao, was demanding immediate communication. "He's afraid," Maya said, the knowledge somehow clear to her. "Afraid and greedy. The authority wants the Luminaris as a weapon." "What do we do?" asked Karim. "We can't fight off 5 military cruisers." Maya's mind raced along paths both human and alien, seeing possibilities that would have been invisible to her before. "We don't have to fight. The Luminaris has defenses, but more importantly, it has capabilities they can't even imagine." She turned to face her crew, her oldest friends and companions. "I need to ask something difficult of you all. The Luminaris can accommodate human passengers, but to truly fulfill its potential, it needs more than just me. It needs a crew, humans who understand its purpose and will help guide its journey." "You're asking us to leave the horizon behind," Rodriguez said quietly. "To leave Earth behind." Maya nodded, feeling the weight of what she was proposing. "I am. This ship contains knowledge that could transform our civilization, but it's meant to be shared gradually, naturally, not seized and weaponized. The Volteri were peaceful explorers who uplifted species across the galaxy. They would want us to continue their work." Her crew exchanged glances, a silent communication born of years working side by side in the depths of space. "I'm in," said Elena Sokolov first. "I became a xenobiologist to understand alien life. This is beyond anything I could have imagined. The engineering on this vessel rewrites everything we know about physics," Rodriguez added with a grin. "Wild horses couldn't drag me away." One by one, the others agreed, each for their own reasons. Curiosity, loyalty, the promise of adventure, or simply trust in their captain. As the military vessels drew closer, Maya and her crew worked feverishly to prepare the luminaries. Through Maya's neural link, they learned how to operate systems that had no physical controls, how to navigate using the ship's extraordinary propulsion technology, and how to access the vast library of Valtteri knowledge. Admiral Zhao's communication, when it came, was predictably stern. His holographic image stood on the bridge of the luminaries, glaring at Maya with barely concealed avarice. "Captain Chen, you are ordered to secure the alien vessel and await boarding by Colonial Authority personnel. This discovery falls under strategic asset protocols." Maya met his gaze calmly. "Admiral, this vessel is not a weapon. It's a repository of knowledge from a peaceful civilization, and it's chosen to interface with me. We've established a symbiotic relationship. All the more reason for proper research under controlled conditions," Zhao replied coldly. "You will surrender the vessel, Captain. That's an order." "I'm afraid I can't do that, Admiral. The Luminaries has a different purpose, and I intend to honor the wishes of those who built it." Zhao's face darkened. "Then you leave me no choice. If you attempt to flee or resist boarding, we will open fire." The communication ended, and Maya turned to her crew. "It's time. Are you ready?" They nodded, each taking their place at stations that had been reconfigured to accommodate human operators. Maya closed her eyes, feeling the full power of the Luminaris flow through her as she connected more deeply with its systems. The military vessels surrounded them, weapons charged and targeting systems locked. Admiral Zhao gave them one final warning, his voice tight with anger. "This is your last chance, Chen. Power down and prepare to be boarded." Maya opened her eyes, which now glowed with the same blue light that pulsed through the ship. When she spoke, her voice resonated with certainty. "The Valtteri believed in peaceful exploration, Admiral. They believed in uplifting other species, not dominating them. Their final gift to us isn't a weapon. It's a doorway." With that, Maya activated the Luminaris' most extraordinary system. Space itself seemed to fold around the vessel, light bending and warping in ways that defied conventional physics. A shimmering portal formed before them, not just a visual distortion, but an actual gateway through space-time. "What are you doing?" Zhao demanded, panic evident in his voice as his sensors went wild. "Continuing the journey," Maya replied simply. "The Valtteri mapped thousands of worlds across our galaxy and beyond. They left beacons, waypoints for us to follow when we were ready. We're going to find them, learn from them, and then return to share what we've discovered, when humanity is ready." The military vessels opened fire, but their weapons were ineffective against the Luminaris' advanced shielding. The portal grew larger, more stable, revealing a star field entirely unlike the one they currently occupied. "You can't do this," Zhao shouted. "You're stealing humanity's greatest discovery." Maya smiled sadly. "No, Admiral. I'm preserving it. The Valtteri believe that knowledge should be earned, not taken. When we return, it will be with insights that will transform our civilization, but only if we approach them with wisdom and compassion." The Luminaris began to move toward the portal, its systems humming with power that had lain dormant for 50,000 years. Maya felt a surge of emotion, not just her own, but echoes of the long-vanished Valtteri, their hope that their legacy would someday find worthy inheritors. "This isn't an ending," she told her crew as the portal enveloped them. "It's a beginning." As the Luminaris passed through the gateway, the fabric of space closed behind them, leaving Admiral Zhao and his vessels with nothing but sensor data and unanswered questions. They had vanished from known space in an instant, traveling farther than any human had ever gone before. On the other side, Maya and her crew found themselves in an unfamiliar star system, orbiting a blue-white sun. On their view screens, they could see a verdant world, one of the many seeded by the Valtteri millennia ago, where life had flourished and evolved in its own unique direction. "Where do we go from here?" asked Lieutenant Karim. staring in wonder at the unexplored planet below. Maya smiled, feeling the Luminaris's systems integrating more perfectly with her consciousness with each passing moment. Through her, the ancient ship had found new purpose, and through it, humanity had taken its first true step into the cosmic community the Volteri had envisioned. Everywhere, she answered, as star maps appeared around them, showing hundreds of worlds waiting to be discovered. We have the greatest library of knowledge ever assembled, a ship that can cross the galaxy in the blink of an eye, and the curiosity that the Volteri saw in us and cherished. She looked at her crew, her friends, her fellow explorers, and felt a sense of profound rightness. This was what the Luminaris had been waiting for, what the Volteri had hoped would someday come to pass. The journey of 1,000 stars begins with a single step, Maya said softly, quoting an ancient human proverb that seemed fitting for this moment of convergence between two civilizations, separated by time but united in purpose. As the Luminaris descended toward the waiting world, its systems fully awakened and humming with life, Maya Chen reflected that the greatest journeys often begin not with grand ambitions or military might, but with simple human curiosity, the desire to reach out and touch the unknown. The Starship's epic journey had indeed begun with a human's touch, but where it would lead was a story still waiting to be written. A story that would span stars and generations, guided by the best qualities of both humanity and the ancient Volteri, who had believed in them long before they existed.